My name is Sarah Van Horn, and I'm the Public Affairs Officer at the U.S. Embassy here in Freetown. And I'm joined today with Rashid Doumbouya from the ACC and also from Forabe to talk about human rights in commemoration of the International Day of Human Rights. We have additional panelists who may be joining us later in the session. If any of our viewers have questions for Rashid or any of our other panelists when they join, or for the embassy, feel free to put them in the comments, and at the end we'll have a look and try to answer as many as we can. So the theme for today's panel discussion is International Human Rights Day. Every year since 1948, the international community observes Human Rights Day on December 10th. This is a commemoration of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which proclaims that all humans are entitled to certain inalienable rights, regardless of race, color, religion, sex, language, political or other opinion, national or social origin, or any other status. The United States is committed to promoting respect for human rights at home and around the globe. It hasn't always been easy. Fighting for respect for human rights, just like the fight for democracy, is a process. It's not a finished product. The United States, like many countries, has made progress to the goal of living in a world where everyone's rights are protected and respected. And like other countries, there's still more work to be done. So today, we're going to discuss the theme of this year's International Human Rights Day, which is equality. As I said, I'm joined here today with Rashid Doumbouya, and the theme, as I mentioned, is equality, reducing inequalities and advancing human rights. Rashid, in your opinion, how can this be achieved? How can we work on reducing inequalities that are barriers to promoting human rights for everyone?
Yes, thanks very much for having me in this awesome program today. I'm grateful. I'm Rashid Doumbouya. I'm a human rights lawyer and also the executive director for Legal Link. Legal Link is an organization that helps to defend the rights of religious communities and vulnerable groups in Sierra Leone. And we do so by advocacy, public interest litigations, human rights education, and of course, holding state and non-state actors accountable regarding respect for human rights and international laws they have signed and ratified. Now, the context is key. International Human Rights Day is a day that the UN family has set aside to reflect and showcase how much successes have been garnered, within its 194 member states in the push for compliance and respect for human rights. It's a day that we, in particular, always celebrate because we want to make, ourselves heard in terms of how far we have come regarding fighting the cause for human rights and respect for the rule of law in Sierra Leone. The theme is very important, more so when we note that indeed inequalities, are prevalent in many, many societies today, especially in Africa, Sierra Leone being no exception. And we see this all over, especially with respect to how governments treat, vulnerable groups such as women, girls, a disabled community. We talk also about the vulnerables. For example, we have a lot of amputees, war wounded, coronavirus, and even Ebola virus survivors. And we're talking about also abused women and children, laborers. All of these people currently, we defend their rights, and we have seen it all. We've seen the inequalities, we've seen the marginalization, we've seen the neglect, and even regarding women's rights in the country, we've seen the challenges. Of recent times, we've seen a lot of attacks and victimization on women, in particular, women who dare to cross the line. They have been met with stiff resistance by political and non-state actors. So it tells us how far our society has gone down in terms of respect for vulnerable groups and their rights. So there's a lot of inequalities. And the other day I proposed to the nation that we should have a commission I call an Equal Opportunities Commission. It's not in Sierra Leone at the moment. So there's no way we could bridge inequality in our nation except we move to concrete actions such as having legal and policy reforms around these stereotypes and nuances that undermines vulnerable rights in Sierra Leone. So yes, indeed, the theme was apt, and I'm sure it was designed to discuss around this hot burning issue that the world is grappling with. And it's not just an African problem. In many countries in the West, we also see a lot of inequalities. For example, we're talking about migrants, population, how they are being treated at the moment to access safer shores. Nobody seems to want to care about where they're coming from, the struggle they're going through, but all we're concerned is to stop them from entering into safer shores. So inequality also could be seen in that regard.